The next chapter in the beloved children's book series, The Chronicles of Narnia, comes to life as the Voyage of the Dawn Treader hits the big screen just before Christmas. So today, we're taking you across the pond to snowy London, England, for a look at the world premiere and a peek behind the scenes of this epic new adventure. Let's take a look. The red carpet was an event all its own. A royal affair complete with flaming torches and falling snow put on by Her Majesty the Queen to benefit a local charity. After the premiere, I had the opportunity to sit down with the film's executive producer and cast, including the man behind the voice of Aslan, Mr. Liam Neeson. Mr. Neeson, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Pat.
Wonderful film, wonderful film.
Great,
Once again,
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
What has it meant to you, more along those lines, to star in these films, especially being such a key role?
I took it very seriously. I read the books. I read them to my kids, and I went on safari to Kenya and Tanzania to study lions in the wild and get a sense of their majesty and their power. And so what has it meant to me? It's just, as a professional job, it's been fantastic. And there's just wonderful, there is a message in all these movies, which is essentially about taking responsibility for your decisions, you know, the decisions that you make in life.
Returned for a reason. You have come far, and now your journey lies beyond.
And so, Will, this is your first Narnia film. How are you feeling about the time that you spent with this wonderful cast?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, you know, I can't say really enough how thankful I am to them for making me feel so welcome, and Georgie, Skander and Ben in particular were just, you know, made it so easy for me to settle in, and it was kind of, I did feel a bit sort of apprehensive coming into, you know, something as big and prestigious as Narnia, and there was kind of the new boy at school kind of feel to it, but these guys made me feel so welcome, and you know, I feel very, very lucky to have been part of it.
Now, Georgie, in this film, you've grown up a little bit. Tell us a little bit about the changes that Lucy has gone through.
Well, Lucy's kind of facing challenges that every teenage girl faces. She's coming into adolescence now, and it was definitely really fun to play that three-dimensional side to her. You know, it's cool that she's not just sweet and nice all the time now. You know, she's got a bit of a dark side to her, and that's almost makes her a bit more human and kind of makes her a bit more relatable to teenage girls. And that was a challenge for me, but I hope I did it justice.
That's quite beautiful. I mean, for a make-believe map of a make-believe world.
There is the source of your troubles. Dark Island. A place where evil lurks. It can take any form. It can make your darkest dreams come true. It seeks to corrupt all goodness, to steal the light from this world.
How do we stop it?
So how was it being basically the only girl on set most of the time? How'd you like that?
It was fun, actually. I mean, I kind of liked the idea that I was the one bringing girl power to the table, and it was really great to train up with the boys and be doing a lot more stunts and kind of take on a bit more of an action girl role. But I think a bit of femininity in the cast was needed, and yeah, it was a really fun time.
Now, Will, Eustace goes through quite a bit in his first appearance here in Narnia. Tell me a little bit about the changes that he experiences.
No, absolutely, yeah, he does, I think, experience quite a dramatic sort of transformation, and does, I suppose, he does kind of weather quite a lot of personal and sort of internal problems with himself, and I think, you know, obviously turning into a dragon as well is one of the more obvious metaphysical changes, but that really is symbolic of quite a definite change in his decisions as to how he's going to conduct himself for the rest of his life, really. And then I think he realises his mistakes and really that he could be a better person.
The main theme of this particular book and film is temptation. Temptation, how it affects you, how it assails you, and how to deal with it, and the glory of getting through it and overcoming it. And of course, temptation applies to all people of all faiths and all creeds and every races in the world. So we all are familiar with the nasty little niggling voice in our head that says, why don't you do so-and-so? Or, how dare she or how dare he? All those things that get at us. And of course, this film does show how children face temptation and how they deal with it.
What are you staring at?
Whoever has access to this pool could be the most powerful person in the world. Lucy, we'd be so rich. No one could tell us what to do or who to live with.
You can't take anything out of Narnia, Edmund.
Says who?
I do.
Most of the characters have evolved over this time, the last 3 films. Tell me a little bit about Aslan. Has he changed? Has he grown any? Has he evolved?
Yes, I think he has. Aslan has, I don't know if you've noticed, but he's actually got bigger. In each film he actually grows in size.
Didn't notice that.
Very, very subtly. To indicate his spiritual presence in the kids' lives, let's put it that way, But I've loved doing them. This is the 3rd, you're right, and it's also the 3rd in a series of books written by C.S. Lewis. There are 7 in total, and I hope we get to make 4 more, It's a wonderful experience to voice this creature.
Well, you started your acting career actually playing in a religious theme film. Yes. And throughout your career, you've kind of revisited that theme of spirituality and religion. Is that something that's important to you? Why do you think that keeps coming back in your repertoire?
It's the roll of the dice, to be honest with you. But it's something I think about every day. I mean, question of spirituality and what is there after this? Are we all just chemistry? Do we all just die and that's it? Or is there something else out there? But those are very deep questions, personal questions we all have to ask ourselves, I think. And these movies bring that up, and they bring them up in a very, very entertaining way.
In this film, one of the main themes actually in all of the films so far is saying goodbye. What do you feel like the viewers maybe can take home from that, a message about saying goodbye, something that we all have to do?
Well, that it's never really goodbye, is it? It's au revoir, maybe. I personally never like saying goodbye. Certainly in Aslan's case, he hints at he's always going to be with these kids, in some form, which is nice,
And I think one of the reasons it's most people's favourite, or many people's favourite, is because a lot of people like a seafaring story anyway, and it's a very beautiful book in terms of its descriptive passages, and therefore a very beautiful film. Anyone with any artistic endeavours is never completely happy with their own work when they've finished. You go back and think, oh, I wish I'd done this slightly differently or that slightly differently. But all in all, I'm very happy with the movies we've made. Now my main aim is to get the next one made. And for that, we need you. We need you and your audience to go and see the movie with all your friends. Take your friends. Take your enemies, because you're supposed to love your enemies, remember. Get together a large party, go see this. This is actually a movie you do need to see several times. It's got so many levels of meaning and importance to it. So go and see it half a dozen times, or maybe a dozen if you can afford it. And then we might get a budget to make the next one.
Awesome. The Chronicles of Narnia, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, hits U.S. theaters December 10th. Don't miss this exciting new adventure. It's perfect for family, friends, and maybe even your enemies.